Welcome back everybody to another Infinity Yapper base tutorial here. Today we'll be covering a Forlon base design, and a Forlon base design specifically is one that it can hold significantly more weight, around, I would honestly guess, 3 times more weight, maybe even more than 3 long base here, because you're splitting your weight into so many more struts, and also they're longer, so it's more stable, and also the diagonals help out a little bit more. So with Fort's physics, it's going to be significantly stronger. When should you do this? You should go when doing cannon. So quick timestamps is, first of all, I'm going to do a little bit of yapping on a Forlon base design, which is what I'm doing now. I'm going to be building the Forlon base design step by step, and also I will be doing quick demonstration of the Forlon base design in real game, so that, you know, we can prove that it actually works. So in this replay here, we're actually doing a Forlon base design here. You can see it holds a lot of weight. It looks kind of complicated, and poor Devin here is getting absolutely eviscerated. I would not want to be Devin. So as this guy gets eviscerated, I'm going to keep yapping real quick. So you should only be doing the Forlon base design when you're going to hold extreme amounts of weight. Either that's cannons, or say your most clearly it's going to be your cannons and like a 4v4 in your top base. We can expand that high. If you're not top base, don't bother. If you're not going cannons, probably don't bother. It's really complicated, and it's extraordinarily hard to do. It took me like hundreds of hours to actually figure out how to do well, and it's one of those spaces that where every single strut needs to be the perfect length, and if it's not the perfect length, then you just kind of your bases just don't, you can't connect them. So yeah, that's how you do it. And now also jumping into a actual building the base now. And I would also like to mention that I don't think there's any other tutorial on YouTube where the Forlon bases are generally pretty gatekeeped in forts these days, as there's not much, as this space, I think few people can actually build well, and I don't think anybody, of the good players, care to make a really good tutorial on it. So that's why I'm doing it. So like and subscribe. I'll shut up. Anyways, so when you start it, you want to do with turbines. So turbines, I'm not going to do as much explaining as the 3-long base, because if you're a beginner and I don't know how to build a 3-long base, don't watch this video. Go back to my 3-long video. So here, you want this to be 61 energy, building straight up like this, and you want this to be a little bit leaned like this and this. Notice I don't do my turbines here for a little bit more easier back lean here. Now I want to drag this Forlon from here to here. This is very crucial. If you don't have this, you die. Then you sell this. And I would say we're doing overdrive, right? We get all our mines. I'm not going to demonstrate demonstrating the build order temporarily. I'm just going to be showing the Forlon base design mainly. So I don't know. Let's just get our tech. I don't care. So as I said before in my 3-long base design video, if you go for say regular 3-longs in the back here, after we lean properly, we lean properly, this turns into 2-long. That's not great. That's not good stability. We don't want that. So this is why we'll be building this significantly higher. And also, additionally, I would like to mention that, this 4-long base design is, I would also like to mention that, while we're here, that we're going to be doing 3-longs for just specifically the spine. This makes it easier for us to drag stress to make 4-longs over here, and it also, honestly, the most of your weight of your base should be in the back because of something called back turbines on vanilla, which I'll demonstrate later. So, as we're doing here, we're going to do drag a strut like this, something looking like this. I would usually around the 90 range is pretty good for this length, this strut, but I'll actually drag it now. So now, you go here, and you just do our standard 3-long base design, right? And here, I would usually, so this is usually good lean, maybe get one more turbine, and then we want to connect it when our turbines are flat, so looking like this. That is a perfect turbine scale here. So notice here, this is a 79, and a 3-long is, again, 75 energy, so this is a bit longer than the 3-long, which is perfect. That is pretty much exactly what we want here, so it can withstand a lot of weight. Now, this is a key strut here. You want to be able to connect this from this, because you can't drag 4-longs artificially, you can only connect them between 2 nodes. This is what makes them so complicated. So you want to connect this and this in a way where this strut, first of all, is somewhere in this area, a little bit, just kind of eyeball it somewhere in this area, I suppose, where this is going to be 10600 energy to 108 energy. Now you want to connect it this way and this way. And I personally like getting these struts. I actually don't know if they're needed. I just get them, but it's really not that much energy. I asked Tar didn't really, I asked Tar to review my base, and he said that those struts are wasted money, and then Nutella said those struts are, good for stability, so, we don't know. So then we get our struts here. I think this strut at least is pretty crucial here, so at least get that one here. And now you have a strut looking like this. Also, I forgot to mention, actually, I skipped a step here, is that you want to build this strut here, sort of like parallel to this, and you want to make it around, I would say 102, 103, 104 energy max, so around 102 to 104 energy, where you can connect it this way, or as short as you can make it while connecting it this way. If you can't connect those struts, then make it higher. If you can't, and if you can't connect that, then you build your base somewhere on. Restart. You go cry. Anyways, so the reason why you don't want to have it the max length, which is 108/109 energy, is because when you're if this was a max length box, you can't drag this diagonal anymore. So this is why you want to have this a little bit lower, so you can actually drag this diagonal, something looking like this. So you want this diagonal to be as long as possible. 108 energy is a great number. So now we want to connect to the floor here. We can use a rope to make pre-existing nodes and connect to the floor like this, or else we can't do it. We kind of want to go like straight down like this. Sometimes you can't, so something looking like this. Actually, I want that a little bit in, so this fills in a little bit. So it just looks nicer. I'm gonna... I want this to fill in. Yes, perfect. All right. So now we got this. We can also connect it this way. Again, I think this is... it's kind of arbitrary if you want this or not, but anyways, here, after you built this right here, and this right here, you want to build a box kind of like this, where you could connect it up like this, and you want this to be fairly long, but not at maximum length, similar to this box here. And you want to get another turbine, and let's actually pretend we're overdrive here, so we're going to sell this tech. I would go ahead and upgrade our go ahead and upgrade our turbines, and then upgrade our mines. And now here, this is actually enough a backbone for our base right now, where if you want to build cannons, you can just immediately build cannons. And we can move on to our next step. After maybe like building, let's just say 2 or 3 cannons, we can keep building back. So you want to build this and this in a way where this goes horizontally, where you can connect this strut basically as long as possible, 107 or 108 or 109 like that. And you also want to be able to connect it like this. So let's make sure we can connect it like that and connect this like this. Now we want to move back a little bit. I want to make this actually the max length you can make it. So we're usually 109. You notice I can't connect this right now. A cool trick is maybe building this so your base drops down a little bit, and then you connect it like that. And this is perfect maximum length right here. And here, let's just go ahead and build some cannons because that's much easier for reference. For where I would place my cannons, I would do this and not quite a full length, around like a 2.5 length at back here. Kind of like this, and then I would also slant my cannons down because your cannons just simply get better angle when you're slanted down, and when you put weight in the back of your base, your cannons even out eventually. So, as I said before, slanted down cannons, looking like this, and the cannon boxes, 62 is the minimum energy, but when you slant them more, you might need to make bigger boxes. 64 energy is a pretty reliable number though. I usually go for 64. We don't have to necessarily put cannons in them right now, but you know, we'll get them later. So now I would do this. You want to have it build back a little bit like this, where this is close to the maximum strut length here. And let's just say you build another cannon. So here I would also get these 3 longs, by the way. So if you don't know what these are, then maybe you probably should be watching this tutorial. No offense. And we get our standards. Can we not here? Can I drag that? Please and thank you. I'm gonna crash out. Okay. So here, I'm just going to cross brace it because it looks nicer. Anyways, let's do our front stability tech here. Here, and here. Make sure to drag this horizontally this way, so this 4 long exists, by the way. And now I'm going to do a little part that I think I covered in my last tutorial. So you want to drag a strut from here to here, a little bit under the core, looking like a triangle like this. And you drag this like this, so you have a 4 long over here. And you select this node once again so you can click on this strut. It's also easier if you want to select the strut that's say behind the device. Say, I don't know, say this diagonal strut here. You can click a node it's connected to, and it's easier to select it that way. So here, maybe this is a little bit harder, so I would connect this. I would click this, and then I would hold this, so I drag that to the right. What's the point? You get these 4 longs here. So when you put weight in the front of your base with your tiny doors, it doesn't all come into like these struts, which starts blinking soon. And same here for above. So you want to go above the core, kind of like this. You have this diagonal strut here, and now you want to, since I can't select this behind the core, right? You can go ahead and select the node it's connected to, and then you can select that joint easier. So here, and here. So it created 2 struts here and here. This is pretty crucial here, so that when you put more weight, it doesn't all collapse into this too long, which is not able to handle that much weight. This cross bracing is not needed. And eventually here, I want to build this, and here, and here. Sometimes you can't build this strut immediately because it's too long, but once you put more weight on your base, say you build more cannons, that strut will eventually be possible, so that, say this strut doesn't blink, and it relieves a little bit more stress on this, and this, and this. Now let's continuing to, well, our journey to the back of the base. Here you potentially can get another turbine. I generally think 5 turbines max is the better number instead of 6. So you want to do this again with max like length here. And here for your back turbines. So what you want to do is you want to go here and then you want to connect to these nodes essentially. I don't know why I cannot connect that one actually. There we go, now I can. You want to connect to these nodes, by the way, so, you know, there's going to be a lot of force pulling back and forth, so connecting it to these makes your base longer. Now, you want to kind of drag boxes like this, and you want to connect it this way. And now we do this again. And we do this one more time. Let's actually build cannons in here now, so we can, you know, better demonstrate what it looks like. Again, if you're going lasers, I don't think this space is really for you. So we go for our cannons, and after 2 basically full-sized boxes horizontally here, you can get this turbine here and here. And you can see, good back turbines. When you go for a higher cannon stack, you'll realize you need more energy, and that's a good way to get back turbines here. And if you're not doing, and this is also one of the only bases that really have enough strength to handle back turbines, while your 3-long base typically cannot handle it. So we're gonna go here, and we're gonna do our typical tiny doors, right? I'm not gonna explain too much tiny doors on this tutorial because if you don't know tiny doors, I don't recommend. Again, this is a complicated base, guys. Let's just do this, and then we connect this to the bottom here, and those are our tiny doors, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and do some wood spam. So for wood spam, because our turbines are a little bit lower than what I would usually do, so I would maybe do these 4 longs. I would actually not angle them as much. I would just do a little bit of angle, something looking like this. And also, when you're doing the space, you're also basically only going to be top base specifically, and top base you don't need to worry about drop shots as much. So here, let's do this. And as you go out for far enough, it's going to start hurting turbine efficiency, which I'm not a huge fan of. So energy shield, like this, a bit larger than it has to be just to prevent any drop shots or anything like this. And a small energy shield, almost the minimum length, just a little bit higher though. After that, there you go, at least 2 energy shields is a good number. And we also want to convert this to background bracing for a little bit more efficiency. So we go from 75 to 80, something like 80 something. Now we can drag this to the left, or if you can't, you want to do a max length strut, maybe like kind of like this. 93, and now you want to build a strut as high as possible where you can connect down like this. So 107 is probably the minimum number that I'll take. 107 to 109 is fine. 109, perfect number. We can't connect it right now. We can connect it this way, and now it's going to fall down a little bit, and we connect it this way. And one more time, we can go ahead and 108 is the perfect number, so we connected this and this. If those are not the perfect numbers and the perfect lengths, you cannot connect this. However, if you realize you can't connect this, sometimes you put more weight down here. This drops a little bit, and then these struts can now connect. Let's go ahead and we can get a little bit more back turbines. And also, very key important thing here, actually. First of all, connect this. Most people forget that part. Very, very key concept here. So these back turbines are actually shifting the center of weight in your base so closer to the back here, so that when those tiny doors get shot, let's say, I do not have the tech. So say when those tiny doors get shot, that's not a tiny door. You realize it doesn't cave in on itself, usually, even though there's weight up here. This is because this is actually trying to pull it back, so this makes it significantly more resistant or repairable when you're getting shot by everything. And this is actually very, 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 very important when you're going cannons. I should have made this bigger. Yep. There we go. Alright. Now we're gonna keep furthering our cannon stack here. And here, if you want to get more back turbines, you'll realize this is gonna start faltering eventually. You want to start doing like full length struts here. And you want to connect this. 109 is the perfect length, as I said before. 101's probably acceptable. Maybe I can go for 107. That's even better. 107, great number. I want that. And here, and let's see. Something looking like this. There we go. Now we have more weight in the more strength in the back here for our back turbines, and well, we can just keep kind of stacking cannons upwards, and you can see it's very strong. If you want some more stability, you can drag this like this, and that's basically everything you need. Also, I would go for sandbags here. Sandbags, good idea. Maybe another energy shield, and maybe more batteries. Key thing to recognize here, if again you're putting a lot of weight on your base, if you want to reinforce your base easily, I would do a strut like this. And you can drag this usually to form struts like this, and then you can make a strut like that. And while you can't drag this, I don't think I think you can kind of find your way to reinforce your base kind of like this. And if you can't do that, then you can do this. Can I get this? You know, you're making me look bad. You get the point. You can connect it like this, but the only time where you would actually need this much stability is when you're like getting like 10 cannons, and I like if you're getting 10 cannons, I think you won the game. It doesn't really matter if you get 10th cannon or not. I'm gonna crack. You get the. I'm gonna. Yes, there we go. We got the struts we wanted. So yeah, that's extra reinforcement if you need that. I don't think you'll ever need it though. If you want to defend the mines a little bit, say your top base, and you can do that. And then, this is the preferred wood spam. I think I would go for. This can tank multiple cannons, and it's I think the best wood spam to tank say like a Howie cannon. Though I don't think you should be tanking much howitzers here. Something looking like this, and we'll keep building, and I'll keep building and see how far we get up, and then I'll give you a quick update. Alrighty, and a couple cannons later, this is what we got. We got like at least a cannon. I'm not counting a lot, and we got some back turbines here. Can we drag this thread actually? No, I can't. Okay, and we're starting to have blinking here. I think if this breaks, we'll still survive, and if this breaks, we'll still survive. You know what? Now something else is blinking. I'll delete that too. Yeah, there we go. If that blinks, we'll survive. So we have a lot of cannons here, a lot of wood spam, and if you want to do proper tiny doors, I would do this and this, and this. You know, I realized that this is actually a little bit red here, so meaning if I shoot this, it'll kind of collapse within itself, which means maybe some more back turbines would do nicely here. So something looking like this, and this, and this. Kind of relieving the tension a little bit here. Now we go ahead and do our tiny doors. And now we use our sandbags. Alrighty, and after a little bit of sandbags and a little bit more defense here, this is going to be our kind of our final product here. As you can see, pretty much nothing is blinking. Our entire base is stable, and well, this is just a perfect base that can hold a lot of cannons. In all seriousness though, this is actually pretty stable. Well, if you're not going for, what is this, like 12 cannons? I'm not bothered to count that. So we're gonna go ahead and see how this, you know, that is not. Actually, let me make sure everything is unboxed here. So yeah, let's go ahead and test our fire cannons. As you can see, they all have decent angles at the top here. You see the angles really start to struggle, but you know, you should never be building that high. If you're going to build this high with cannons, which actually sometimes you actually kind of do, in 4v4s, well, you can see that this is very strong. See? Good. I mean, obviously, I think if you remove one less cannon, you would not have this stability issues, and, you know, you would have a little bit more turbines than we probably need here. Let's just eventually do this. This. Here, 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 and here. Isn't that satisfying, guys? And that basically concludes it. You know what? I kind of lied on how I'm going to do an actual game demonstration. I've been recording for too long, and I've done too many retakes to actually do that, but, you know. I guess drop a like and subscribe, and my next tutorial video will be how to play mortars, or at the mortars base design on, well, vanilla here. And yeah, be pro, build cannon stack. This is, I feel like doesn't everybody just want to do this? Isn't that amazing? And you know, I double checked this with a lot of like good players, so you know, just the only place where you can find the most accurate like competitive content on YouTube. But have a great day, subscribe, and bye bye.